It is tempting to think that when politicians vote and pass a new law in a grand assembly hall, a societal problem is instantly solved. But a piece of legislation is really just an architectural blueprint. It might look brilliant on paper, but until engineers, laborers, and raw materials physically arrive on the riverbank to build the structure, no one is crossing that river. That massive chasm between a paper mandate and real-world construction is what we call the implementation phase. It is the specific stage where political decisions actually step off the page and turn into physical action for a society. To actually build that metaphorical bridge, 3 distinct institutions have to step in and execute the work: the permanent bureaucracy, grassroots local bodies, and non-governmental organizations. Without this exact sequence of administrative and community actors working in tandem, high-level political visions stay exactly where they started, on paper. The first operational engine is the state bureaucracy. Unlike elected politicians who come and go, this is the permanent, professional administrative workforce. When a legislature passes a law, the text is usually broad and vague. Civil servants translate those high-level objectives into thousands of actionable rules, deploy the necessary personnel across the state, and manage the massive departmental budgets required to fund the work. They also act as the enforcers. Bureaucratic agencies set regulatory standards, conduct audits, and oversee large-scale public services like state hospitals and school systems. But this centralized scale comes with built-in friction. Extensive paperwork requirements, rigid approval hierarchies, and departments that operate in total isolation routinely slow down the pace of execution. While the bureaucracy provides the necessary operational backbone and funding, it operates at a geographic and structural distance from the actual citizens. To bridge that gap, the state requires a decentralized partner. That brings us to local bodies, the municipal corporations in towns and gram panchayats in villages. They represent governance right at the citizen's doorstep. A central policy for water management cannot look identical in a coastal district and a hilly, drought-prone area. Local bodies take rigid state directives and adapt them to fit specific geographic, cultural, and infrastructure realities. They are directly responsible for service delivery, like identifying the correct beneficiaries for major social welfare schemes and operating local distribution centers for food grains. Yet these grassroots institutions have vulnerabilities. They often lack trained engineers or data analysts. They rely heavily on state grants that frequently face delays, and local resources can sometimes be diverted by powerful neighborhood factions during community meetings. Local bodies successfully localize the central mandate, but their resource constraints and technical blind spots leave critical gaps that require another layer of outside support. This is where non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, step in. These independent, non-profit civil society groups enter the operational vacuum left by state and local limitations. A major part of their work is grassroots advocacy. They work face-to-face with marginalized citizens, educating them about their legal rights and helping them navigate the bureaucratic system to claim their entitlements. They also execute highly localized programs that require deep community trust, like running targeted health clinics or organizing village-level microfinance collectives, known as self-help groups. Because they are independent, NGOs act as external watchdogs, conducting field evaluations to keep government agencies transparent. And when crises hit, their smaller size allows them to rapidly deploy disaster relief alongside slower government efforts. NGOs bridge the final inch to the citizen. They supply the agility and deep community trust that massive, formal state machineries struggle to build. Effective governance requires a synchronized ecosystem, relying on the overlap of state capacity, decentralized democracy, and civil society. Bureaucracy provides operational structure and resources. Local bodies ensure decentralized delivery and citizen engagement. NGOs bring agility, independent oversight, and targeted outreach. Only when these 3 actors align their goals, communicate clearly, and share funding does that initial legislative blueprint actually transform into a bridge of meaningful social development.